Okay, let's start. Paper 2 multiple choice extended May-June 2024. Paper code is 620 chemistry. Paper 22 MCQ multiple choice question. Time is 45 minutes. You have to solve it in 45 minutes. Okay. Question number 1. Which gas has the slowest rate of diffusion? Hydrogen, ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide. So if you look at the molar mass of all the four gases, 2 molecules of hydrogen, 12 plus 4, it is 16, and carbon dioxide has 12. 1 molecule of oxygen has 16 molar mass and 2 molecules 32, so it is 44. So if you look at the molar mass, carbon dioxide has the greater mass as compared to other three gases, so it is diffused on the slowest rate. So option number is D. Which statement about the position of the element in the periodic table are correct? Elements in the same group have similar chemical properties. Yes. Elements in the same period have similar chemical properties. No. Elements in the same group have the same number of electron shells. No. Elements in the same group have the same number of outer shell electrons. Yes. Outer shell electrons, they are same. So our option is B. Which statement about isotopes are correct? Isotopes are atoms of different elements with the same number of protons. No. Isotopes of the same element have the same chemical properties. Yes. Isotopes are atoms with the same relative atomic mass. No. Isotopes of the same element have the same electronic configuration. Yes. So 2 and 4. Option is C. Question number 4. Which diagram shows the arrangement of the outer shell electron in a molecule of water? So it is the chemical formula of water, H2O. 1 oxygen molecule, share electron with the 2 hydrogen molecule. Okay. So if you look at all these 4 pictures, A is not correct because there is no outer shell electron are showing. Here they show, but electrons arrangement in hydrogen is incorrect. D, there is no outer shell electron are showing in this diagram. Option C is correct because it fully shows the arrangement of electrons. So its option is C. Question number 5. The structure of 3 substances are shown. 1, 2 and 3 lattice structure. So if you look at these, it has weak intramolecular forces and it is a layered structure. Probably it is graphite. And if you look at second one, it has hard lattice structure with strong intramolecular forces. And 3, it is also a compact solid structure, and it also has strong intramolecular forces. Which substances are hard and have a high melting point? 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Option is D. Graphite, diamond, silicon oxide. Question number 6. Information about four substances W, X, Y, and Z is shown. W. Melting point 1710 doesn't conduct when solid. X 3500 conducts when solid. Y 120 doesn't conduct. Z 801 conducts when molten. W, X, Y, and Z are graphite, polyethylene, sodium chloride, and silicon oxide, but not in that order. What are W, X, Y, and Z? So, if you look at Z, its melting point is 801 and conduct when molten. So, it is sodium chloride. So, sodium chloride is mentioned at option D. Polyethylene has low melting point, 120. It's Y. Graphite conducts when solid, high melting point, 3500. Silicon oxide, 1710, doesn't conduct when solid. So option is D. The structure of glycine is shown. Which row is correct? Formula of glycine, number of different elements in glycine. So different numbers of elements we have to find out, and formula. So its formula is C2H5 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 O2 and N. So it is C2H5O2N, and number of different elements are 4: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. It is option B. The incomplete equation for photosynthesis is shown. W CO2 plus X water, P plus Y oxygen. So in this equation we have to find out P, and here we have to balance the equation. Compound P is a product of the reaction. Which row describe the value of W, X, Y and give the empirical formula of compound P? Value of W, X and Y. W X and Y are all the same. So it is, if you remember the equation of photosynthesis, it is 6 carbon dioxide plus okay. The value of W, X and Y are same. W, X and Y, it is 6. Okay. Empirical formula. C6H12O6 is the original formula of glucose, which is the product of photosynthesis. So its empirical formula is CH2 and the option is A. The concentration and volume of an aqueous alkali are known. Which additional information is required to calculate the number of moles of acid needed to neutralize the aqueous alkali? The concentration of the acid, the equation for the acid-alkali reaction, the formula of the acid, the volume of the acid required for neutralization. The concentration of the acid? No, it is known. The concentration and volume of an aqueous alkali are known. Which additional information requires to calculate the number of moles of acid needed to neutralize the aqueous alkali? Concentration of the acid? No, because the concentration of the acid is doesn't matter. Equation for the acid-alkali reaction? Yes. The formula of the acid? No. The volume of the acid required for neutralization? No. Volume, we have to note down the volume when the titration is neutralized. Okay. Then we note down the how much volume is of acid is used. So the equation for the acid-alkali reaction is the option, because we have to calculate the number of moles of acid needed to neutralize the aqueous alkali. So to calculate the number of moles of acid, we need the equation. Which statement about electrolysis is correct? Electrons move through the electrolyte from the cathode to the anode. Electrons move in the external circuit towards the cathode. Negative ions move in the external circuit towards the anode. Positive ions move through the electrolyte towards the anode. These three options are incorrect. This is an electrolyte setup, electrolysis का anode, cathode. So electrons are moved from the external circuit towards the cathode. This is the external circuits and electrons are moved towards the cathode. Aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrodes. What is the half equation for the reaction of at the cathode? So copper 2 sulfate. So half equation at the cathode is D. Copper electrodes and copper is also accumulated at copper electrodes. Again, this is the electrolysis diagram. This is the copper electrodes. Three statements about activation energy are listed. Colliding particles must have at least activation energy before they can react. Yes. Activation energy for exothermic reaction is always greater than that of the endothermic reaction? No. Activation energy is always endothermic, yes. Option is C. 1 and 3 only. Okay, this is a graph. A student adds excess magnesium ribbon to 10 centimeter cube of 0.5 mole over dm cube sulfuric acid. Okay. So the student adds magnesium ribbon to 10 centimeter cube of 0.5 mole over dm cube sulfuric acid. The hydrogen gas produced is collected and its total volume is measured every 10 seconds. Now, hydrogen gas which are produced by this reaction is collected and its total volume is measured. The experiment is repeated with 5 centimeter cube of 0.5 mole over dm cube sulfuric acid added to 5 centimeter cube of water using the same mass of magnesium. So in the next experiment, we take half of the concentration of sulfuric acid 5 centimeter cube and add 5 centimeter cube of water, so make it more dilute. Which line on the graph shows the result of the second experiment? So we have to make some calculations for this question. So if you look at the graph, total volume of the hydrogen per centimeter cube, it is up to 250, and the graph shows highest line, it is at 240. Okay, original experiment was that. Okay, and this is at about 1. Total volume of hydrogen per centimeter cube is 110 or 111. Okay, so which line on the graph shows the result of the second experiment? So this is the original experiment and second experiment is half of it. Okay, so if it is about 100, we take it, this is the original line, and we take it at 10 seconds, measured in 10 seconds, in every 10 seconds. This is 50 seconds. Okay. So if you write down the equation for the reaction, magnesium plus H2SO4, it is MgSO4 plus H2. Okay. So number of moles is equal to mole moles is equal to concentration multiplied by volume. Now how to solve this? If we say moles are N1, concentration is C1 and volume is V1, it is concentration in first experiment is 0.5 and volume used is 10 centimeter cube. It is 0.5 mole over dm cube. Mole over dm cube, I have to have units also. So when we change into centimeter cube, 0.5 change into centimeter cube, so it is divided by 1000, 0.5 divided by 1000 multiplied by 10, and your answer N1 is 0.005. Okay, so these are the moles of H2SO4 in first experiment. Now we calculate the moles in the second experiment. Moles is equal to concentration multiplied by volume, N1, N2, C2 multiplied by V2. Concentration is the same, but volume is change. Sulfuric acid, it is 5 centimeter. Point 0.025, so it is half of it. So when we compare both of the results, the moles of sulfuric acid in the second experiment are half to the first experiment. So the volume of hydrogen produced will also be half. Okay. So the original experiment, it's produced around 110 and 112 आप कर लें, it is on 150. ठीक है, 150 seconds में it is 112 cm cube. So इसका half कर लें, so it is this one. It is about 60. It is about half of this experiment. Okay, so option number is D. The equation represents the reversible reaction between ethene and steam. Ethene plus steam, ethanol. Enthalpy change is negative, delta H. Which row describe the condition that produces the greatest yield of ethanol? So, which row describe the condition that produces the greatest yield of ethanol. For the greatest yield of ethanol, pressure should be high and temperature should be low. And why this happen? ठीक है? We say that enthalpy change is negative. ठीक है? The reaction is exothermic. It means that heat is released according to the Igcsechemistry principles. Okay. So when we slow down or lower the temperature, it will favor the forward reaction, formation of ethanol. Low temperature favor forward reaction. Okay. So if we increase the pressure, it will also favor the increase in pressure, also favor formation of ethanol. Okay. So the conditions that produce greatest yield of ethanol are high pressure and low temperature. Just see. Why the pressure is high? प्रेशर क्यों इंक्रीज करेंगे? बिकॉज द फॉरवर्ड रिएक्शन जो है हमारे पास, इट इन्वॉल्व्स अ डिक्रीज इन द नंबर ऑफ द गैस मॉलिक्यूल. ओके. Next is 15. Which to identify the pressure and the catalyst used for the conversion of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide in the contact process. So if you remember the contact process, pressure and catalyst. Catalyst is vanadium pentaoxide. Okay. And pressure is atmospheric pressure पूछा हमने. ठीक है. So the atmospheric pressure is 2 atm. ठीक है. Is equal to 200 kilopascal. So sometime in books we have write down 200 kilopascal. 200 kilopascal means 2 atm, atmospheric pressure. Okay. Here they also write 200 atmosphere with vanadium pentaoxide. So it is incorrect. Okay. 200 kilopascal or 2 atm is used in the contact process. Option number is B. Which equation represents a redox reaction? Silver nitrate, sodium chloride, silver chloride, sodium nitrate, phosphorus pentachloride, water, phosphoric acid, hydrochloric acid, iron plus water, iron oxide, hydrogen, magnesium carbonate, HCl, magnesium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. So we have to mention the redox reaction means both oxidation and reaction. रिएक्शन जो है वो कैरी आउट हो रहे हैं बोथ ऑक्सीडेशन में एंड रिडक्शन में. ठीक है. सो इट इज सी, आयरन ऑक्साइड रिएक्शन होता है. इट इज द रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन. इट शोज बोथ द ऑक्सीडेशन एंड रिडक्शन. The equation for the reaction between aluminium and copper oxide is shown. Aluminium plus copper oxide, aluminium oxide plus 3 copper. Which statement about this equation are correct? The oxidation number of aluminium reactant is +2. No. The oxidation number of aluminium in the product is +6. No. The oxidation number of the copper in the reactant is +2. Yes. The oxidation number of the copper in product is 0. Yes. So option is C. 3 and 4. What is the color of thymolphthalene in dilute hydrochloric acid? So in dilute hydrochloric acid, its color is, it is colorless, no color. Okay. Two acid P and Q with same concentration and volume are reacted separately with the same mass of magnesium ribbon. Two acids P and Q react with magnesium ribbon. They have the same concentration and volume. The reaction produces the same total volume of hydrogen gas, but acid Q reacts much more slowly than acid P. Which explanation for the difference between P and Q is correct? Acid P has a higher pH than acid Q. No. Acid P has a lower concentration of hydrogen ion. No. Acid Q is partially dissociated and acid P is fully dissociated. Yes. Acid Q is a proton acceptor. No. So its option is C. Acid Q is partially dissociated and acid P is fully dissociated. So why we choose C? Because the rate of reaction depends on the concentration of hydrogen ions available for the reaction. Okay. So acid P react faster. It indicates that it has high concentration of hydrogen ions. So it is fully dissociated. And acid Q is partially dissociated because it has lower concentration of hydrogen ions. Got it? Which process is not used in the preparation of an insoluble salt? Filtration, washing, crystallization, and drying. It is crystallization for insoluble salt.